Welcome, welcome everyone. Our fellow ballroom dance fan, Camille, has had some wonderful questions she has posted in comments this week. So today I'm going to answer one of those, which is how do we prepare for competition? Leading up to the competition. I'm going to divide this into two videos. Today I'm going to talk about what we do the week leading up to the competition, not the day of the competition. Now, Camille asked for kind of a hypothetical of how a couple would handle this, and I can do better than that. Of course, like every single pro dancer out there, I was an amateur dancer once myself. And like any higher level pro out there, I was an amateur level competitor for many years before turning pro. So I will share with you how I would prepare, how my partner and I would prepare the week leading up to competition. And so there are 10 steps here I'm going to share today, okay? So number one, if there is a hair and stylist, makeup stylist there that I like at the comp, I will reserve an appointment with them. I'm picky though. If I don't like the person that is there doing the way they do my hair, I'll do it myself. But it definitely saves stress the day of the comp. If I can just hire someone to do it for me, it's worth the money for me. Okay, number two. In my case, I always practiced 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, regardless if it was a comp week or not. That being said, I don't know of any other couple who practices that much. So if you don't practice a lot, you do what works for your schedule and kind of what you can handle mentally and physically. But I do recommend ramping it up the week before the comp, just to familiarize each other with your dancing. Go to a social dance if you can. The leads tend to kind of autopilot back to the same recovery methods. If they get in a pickle, you don't want to feel what that is for the first time in competition. If you go to a social dance together, you will get to see in advance leads what you kind of resort to, and follows you'll see, well, what is my lead going to pull out of his butt here if we get in a jam? And then you can dance much better at the comp, because the comp is not going to go super smooth in terms of floor craft. It never does, okay? Now, just to warn you, the practices that week before the comp are not going to make a difference in your actual technique and your dancing on the comp, okay? You are going to resort to long-term muscle memory when you're dancing for over 10 minutes, okay? You can only pay attention for short-term memory so long, especially when you're under duress and pressure. Probably only can last about 15 seconds on that short-term memory. So do not go into those practices the week leading up to the comp with the expectation that you're going to somehow make a difference and make one more round at this comp. You're just going to dance your level. You're probably going to dance like you were several months ago in practice, like everyone else on the floor. It's not just you, okay? Related to this, the practices the week leading up to the comp will be stressful. Just go in knowing that, okay? You're gonna be much stiffer than usual because you're nervous about the comp. So my suggestion is, in these practices that week, just focus on doing your routines. Okay, because there's going to be a big enough challenge doing that. And follows, you need to know your routines too. Do not just rely on hanging on your partner to get through. It's your job to help him rally when he gets distracted by some crazy floor craft problem. He has his own things to do on the comp day on the comp floor. You can either be an effective co-pilot or you can be a screaming passenger in the back seat. I would hope for effective co-piloting, okay? So back lead a couple figures, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, if your partner doesn't like doing that, say, contra check, slip, pivot, like remind him of where you are in the routine, and then you'll get back both as a partnership on your mojo faster in the comp, okay? Number 3, I recommend taking as many privates as you can, kind of ramping up your lessons, if that's within your time and financial budget, the week before the comp, okay? These will be short-term benefits instead of long-term benefits. So when I'm coaching, I have kind of the long-term bigger lesson that's much harder to learn. And then that week leading up to the comp, let's put lipstick on that pig and walk it down the runway. So I'm doing some short-term fixes that may not be applicable long-term to helping your dancing, but I just want to get you the best marks you can that week. So know that that's a different type of lesson than those long-term lessons you're hopefully doing in between, okay? Certainly don't just take a lesson week before the comp and rely on YouTube and practice to get you there, because it's going to take a lot more help from a professional than that. Okay, next up 4. Ladies, I'm not recommending this. I'm just sharing you, in all honesty, what I have done, which is I like to tan. Causes cancer, makes you look way old, way before your time. I'm not recommending it. I'm just sharing kind of what my rituals have been, okay? Number 5, review your costumes in advance. What does this mean? Ladies, check your heel caps. If you've got uneven wear, either pack an extra pair or just go to the comp, budgeting enough time and money to buy some more when you're there. Check your costumes. Men, do you have all of the parts of your tail suit or, some sort of tie you might need? Ladies, double check your rhinestones. I always have an extra rhinestone caboodle that I can glue on missing stones, because this is just part of wear and tear of dancing. The sew-on ones are pretty hardy, guys, but ladies, you'll find those 20 SS and glue-on stones will come off, especially in kind of, I'll call it the wear zones. So like right here, where you're connecting to your partner a lot. That's normal. And you kind of want to look and feel as polished as you can when you go out there on that comp floor, okay? I personally like to invest in a new pair of shoes. I don't want to go out there looking like I just rolled out of the dumpster. I realize that's a cost investment. So if that's not within your budget, totally fine, okay? Probably it's not going to negatively affect your marks. I'm just sharing what my rituals have been. You can buy them online a little cheaper, or there's often a shoe vendor at the comp. If that's in your budget, hey, save yourself the stress and get them there, and you can even try them on, which is great. Number 6, practice one day in your costumes. Regardless of how experienced you are, particularly if you have a new costume that comes in, this really is important, because if there's going to be a snafu, you don't want to find out when you're at the comp and something fails. I do have a couple costume fail videos I can link to below if you want to hear some of those horror stories. So definitely test drive the costume. And even if you've worn the costume before, man or lady, test drive it, because the dancing is going to feel different in that costume. I guarantee that. And so you'll want to feel that to decrease the variables and stress you'll feel on your comp day. You will dance better under less emotional stress. Okay? You have my word. Okay. Number 7, if it is possible, which often it's not, but if it's possible, participate in group mock comp rounds before the comp. My coaches always did this. I found it to be extraordinarily helpful. I do this for my students too. What is a mock competition round? Well, it's essentially a pretend competition. You practice walking on the floor. You practice your walk up. You practice your full routine without stopping and arguing about anything or thinking. You just do it. You throw it down and do it like you will at the comp. You do your rollouts. You get all of this kind of reiterated back in your muscle memory, so it happens much better and less stressful on comp day for you, okay? As a matter of fact, as an amateur, none of our coaches in town, really had a competitive clientele. So we drove 3 hours once a week to do comp rounds in another state. Drove 3 hours there, literally just did 3 rounds and drove all the way back home. So this was an entire day of time dedicated to not a lesson, not a practice, just running 3 rounds. Paid off in spades. So do that if it's an option for you. Maybe another coach in town offers those. It doesn't hurt you to call and ask permission. Hey, I know you're not your student, but maybe I could jump in. That hasn't personally happened to me, but hey, I would welcome more couples. I mean, it helps everyone. Okay, number 8, start hydrating the day prior to your comp, or the day prior to departing, okay? So athletically, you can lose up to 2 liters of sweat in an hour of hardcore activity. And I don't know about you, but when I dance, my gown is drenched at the end of each round. And I mean sopping wet heavy. So think about it, 2 liters an hour. It's a lot of water. Your body biologically can only absorb 1 liter an hour. Do the math. If you wait until you walk onto that comp floor, you will be dehydrated and you will not athletically be able to perform to your maximum. And honestly, even mentally, your brain gets physically dehydrated too. Bad idea. So start hydrating early. What's the worst case scenario? You have to pee a lot. Who cares? That sure beats not dancing to my maximum at the comp, okay? Okay, number 9. For me, in my experience, it wasn't my first rodeo. I was a very seasoned competitor. I would pack the night before. I always had my bag half packed anyway. All my cosmetics, hair pieces, anything I needed to go were ready to roll. But if you're less experienced, pack at least 3 days in advance. That way, shoot, is my hairspray bottle low? You don't want to have an emergency at the comp. So pack in advance. Do not wait until the night before unless you're a very seasoned competitor, okay? Finally, number 10, related to this, sleep well before you travel. You're never going to sleep well on the plane. You're never going to sleep well, especially that first day in a hotel bed. Let's be honest. There's no place in the world like our own bed. I don't care how expensive your hotel room is. Your bed is like heaven. So take advantage of that last week sleeping at home. Do not stay up all night wasting your time practicing, packing, doing Lord knows what, catching up with work. I get it. I am tempted too. But sleep will pay off in spades, investing in your sleep. So definitely sleep well that week. Hopefully that's been helpful. I'm going to come back tomorrow with kind of my routine of what I would do as a couple to prepare the day of comp and when we get to the hotel. So hope this helps. And thanks so much for your question, Camille. And if you are a fan of all things ballroom dance, hey, subscribe. I'd love to see you tomorrow. And ask more questions, guys. I love it. So helpful for me to know what you'd like to hear about. Okay? Have an awesome day. See you tomorrow.